Now, exactly a month ago, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta directed that all schools should be closed and closed with immediate effects. It started with primary schools, secondary schools, and consequently universities. And since then, almost 18 million students, these are pupils that are from kindergarten through to universities, have been at home for a month now. And we just want to understand how this whole situation is being taken care of to just make sure that our children do not really miss out or veer off the curriculum as it was intended, given that the first term calendar was set to come to an end on the 10th of April. But as a result of COVID-19, it had to be cut short a month before it was due. So to help us with this discussion, we have with us Ruth Mugambi, who is the Deputy Director of Secondary Education and also the chair of the KICD Internal Committee Curricular Reforms. Karibu sana, Madam Ruth. Thank you for making time.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's just get straight into it to just even help our viewers understand the situation. Now, it's been exactly a month since schools closed. So far, from where you sit, how has this month been in terms of the curriculum? What is the impact on ground from what you have observed?
Well, of course, it has been affected, but as an institute, we have been trying very hard to make sure that at least learners have access to content, access to lessons, access to materials that enable to learn they are in school at home. Although it's a different scenario, we feel that at least we have provided with them with enough information and enough lessons that they can use during this time of the shutdown when they are at home. It has been a long period, and we want them to continue learning and continue doing something to do with education.
Now, given the abruptness of this directive that was given by His Excellency, just to protect our children, how has communication between the Curriculum Development Institute and schools been like to just ensure a smooth transition of the curriculum from school to home?
Well, we have opened a lot of platforms for the schools to communicate with us, and they have been doing that. We have also had programs, online programs that have been going on radio, on TV, through the internet, through our website. We have tried to continuously communicate. We also have our Facebook page where a lot of people have continuously engaged us. We have also had a lot of calls, and a lot of communication has been going on. So where they have questions, we have actually come up with a lot of even WhatsApp messages that have been going around to schools. We have also communicated a lot in terms of the programs that are there so that they can connect and connect with us. So as much as possible, we have tried to be in communication with those who are really interested in the process.
All right. Now, we have seen so many institutions go the e-learning way of, just keeping up with the curriculum. But a big challenge of that has been facing most, at least for most parents' side of things, is that they don't have as much access to some of this e-learning equipment. How would you suggest that this be facilitated to just make sure that no students are left behind?
That is true. We are aware that there are millions of children who may not have access to the kind of radio, TV, and talking about. We also are aware that there are millions of children who also have access to the same TV, radios, and the online we are talking about. So we are trying to provide a multifaceted approach where any learner can be able to engage, even on a radio, even on their phone if they have the smartphones. But of course, there are those who have not access to that. And we are hoping that such learners do have their books with them at home, and do have, because the government has provided for the learners the course books that they require for each subject. So we are hoping that they too are able to access them and are going through them during this period.
All right. Now, the fact that we had to go this e-learning way of things, it means parents have more to do when it comes to keeping the children, on track with the curriculum. But, speaking from past experiences, we always see parents falling short, especially when it comes to doing even holiday homeworks. So how then do we even encourage parents to help their children keep up with the curriculum that was part of what they're supposed to learn in school?
Well, I think if one goes back to what this is all about, One of our major principles is parental engagement and empowerment, where we want parents to actually get involved in the learning of their children. This has been seen as one of the things that promotes the learning of the child. Children whose parents are involved in their learning are able to learn better. At this time, the parents have no choice. They are in their homes with their children, and we are not asking them to teach. We are just asking them to facilitate. Remember, in CBC, it's about facilitation of learning. The
Yeah.
teachers are facilitators of learning. So we want parents to also facilitate in learning. And it's not necessarily teaching them. So how do they facilitate that learning? They're able to ensure that when the programs are available, they are able to access them and the learners are actually engaging. Once the learners are asked to do maybe a task may be daunting, or a task may be about making something within the home, the parent is just to oversee what the child is doing. And this is very important because it also caters for the safety of that child as they're doing some of these processes,
Yes.
and the learner. Yeah. So yes, parents should be involved in the learning of their children, but it's not academic to the parents
All
or
right.
guardians.
All right. Now, you've just mentioned the CBC, and we were still in the early phases of rolling out the new curriculum, the CBC curriculum, and then we got into this pandemic. How has this rollout been affected and hampered the process so far?
Well, the process of curriculum development and all the plans we had, yes, indeed, one of the things that has not happened, but we are sure will happen, is that the book evaluation for grade 5, but for grade 4 it was done last year in August, so even in grade 5 it can still be done at the same time. Otherwise, the processes in terms of curriculum development, we are still doing it. We are also doing our work online, and we are going on with the process as planned.
So the CBC curriculum, at least for those in kindergarten up until grade 4, is still well on track. From grade 5, that is when there are a bit of challenges?
Up to grade 5, it is, and if you open our website today, you will see the grade 5 curriculum designs are complete and on the website, and very soon the grade 6 will also be. So now in terms of readiness for us.
All right, so far, all students, all primary school pupils are from kindergarten through to grade 5. Their curriculum has been or is already out, so they're not going to be suffering as much in terms of the consequences. But from grade 6, that is where there might be a bit of challenges, but of course, which are being addressed. Now, getting back to you, Ruth, there has been a lot of
clarification.
Sorry?
Maybe a clarification there.
Yes, please.
Yeah, the grade 5 are still doing the 844 and not doing the CBC. So
Yes.
CBC is up to grade 4, but in terms of readiness, up to grade 5, the curriculum is ready. So those in grade 5, 6, and above are still under the 8.
All right. And speaking of these ones that are under the 844 system way of doing things, there's been a lot that has been said from the public and also some unions of teachers' unions saying that, we need to postpone the KCPE and KCSE because of this pandemic, and we don't know how long it's going to be there. From where you sit as part of the curriculum developers, is this postponement going to be, should it be considered in the first place?
Well, I would rather wait and hear what the cabinet secretary has to say about that. But the issue of postponement, I don't think may arise. I don't know. I think it is important for us to wait for an official statement on this.
A very safe answer. Now, let's go back to this pandemic situation. In the event that, we do pray that, we get to a point where, the COVID-19 is contained. We all pray for the best. But in the event that it continues and it completely disrupts the academic year, what plans are being put in place in terms of longevity to ensure that, our students are not thrown completely off the calendar year?
I think for us as an institute, our mandate is to develop the curriculum and to ensure that the curriculum is in place. When it comes to curriculum implementation, that is the mandate of the Ministry of Education. So it's very difficult for me to give an opinion on the same when I am not part of the quality assurance that decides on issues of curriculum implementation. So for us on the side of KICD, the curriculum development process is to ensure that we have the curriculum in place and we have the course books ready, vetted, and available to the learners.
All right. Now, still coming back to curriculum development, we are coming to see that, this e-learning way of doing things might be the future at least the future of education looking at the situation we are in. But in terms of also just when we get back to a sense of normalcy, is this e-learning of doing things a solution that is going to be considered for the long haul to keep it going, or it's going to be dropped and just go back to the normal way of doing things?
I think for us as an institute, if you look at one of our core competencies, it's about digital literacy.
Yes.
So we do want on-learning to continuously take place with or without the situation that we are in. We must remember that our learners really enjoy the digital gadgets. They enjoy learning. These are platforms, information that one can get at any time they want. So for me, the online learning is something that will continuously take place and happen. Also, that if you open our website through and enter and go to the Kenya Education Cloud, you can access lessons anytime that is of convenience to you. So, indeed, online learning is the way to go, combined with classroom teaching, of course.
Okay. Now, when it comes to, relevant partnerships that could also assist in the rolling out of this new curriculum of doing things, what would you suggest, possible partnerships that could come on board and just help ensure that this way of rolling out the curriculum is effective, not just from your point of view, but also ultimately to the learner?
Programs, online lessons. So actually learners have an opportunity to choose the kind of materials, the kind of books that they want to use. Like if you check, like now we have a lot of books by our publishers that are actually being offered for the learner in terms of what they want. So we are partnering with any private sector that is interested in terms of providing online materials. I must say the publishers have come a long way, are actually providing such programs.
All right, so we will be getting back with Ruth in not too long. Remember, we're talking about, the impact that this COVID-19 pandemic is having on the education sector here in Kenya. There are, both short-term and long-term consequences that we have experienced so far. But for the ultimate good of our children, what more do we need to do to ensure that they are not completely thrown off course in terms of covering the curriculum that was set? We all know, during first term and second term is when most of the curriculum is done, given that third term is usually much shorter. But now that we are in this situation, how can we best make sure that this time is compensated and our children do not get to suffer? Now, coming back to you, Ruth, there's also been speculations about, the fact that most of the curriculum is covered during first term and second term because third term is usually quite short. And there's some parents who are, speculating and a bit afraid that, learners might have to retake the year. When it comes to just settling the parents' minds at ease and some sense of assurity from the curriculum developers, what can you say about this?
I think we are all aware of what is going on.
Yeah.
And our ears are on the ground. And once we know how the situation is going, the institute is actually very addressing what's happening, and we are planning, and we'll be able to the first term is normally the long term, the third term is the short term. What we have done is we developed them for the long haul, for the whole term, for the whole year. So even if the third term is extended, we will ensure that everything is well covered, and I think we shall be given for depending, because we do not know what the future is. But
yes,
we do know that I think it's important for parents to know that we are actually seated and planning for whatever comes to ensure that the child is not ensuring that every child is not left behind. So yes, indeed, we will plan for whatever comes about. And I think parents should just feel relaxed that there are people behind planning planning that this curriculum will be well implemented and their children will not be disadvantaged in any way.
All right. And, just looking at the implementation of the e-learning so far, you had mentioned that, so far you have been making good progress given the abruptness that it did come with, but also from the developer's point of things, what are some of those challenges that you have encountered and possible solutions that came as a result to just make sure that moving on, things will be smoother?
Obviously, when you have online programs, and the CBC is a practical curriculum where learners are expected to perform. It's about the skills, development of skills. It's about learners investing things in terms of you have to see the learner doing to ensure that they're actually achieving what you expect. Like if it is a TV program or a radio program, you're telling the learner to do something, but you're not actually seeing that the learner does. And that is where the parent comes in to see that the learner is following the instructions as per the program. I think that is one of the challenges we are getting. But the feedback from many parents are showing that they are actually enjoying the program and that it is going well. So for me, that would be a challenge because it's a skill-based curriculum, and the development of that skill may not be apparent from an online course.
All right. Now, when it comes to looking at, long-term solutions that are going to last, because, they say when it comes to disaster and pandemics, we need to always be prepared, and especially now looking at our education, we don't want to be thrown off again. Looking at the future, because it's not a matter of if, but just a question of when. In terms of the solid long-term solutions that are being put in place in regards to the curriculum, what can you say about that to just ensure that in the event that we find ourselves in such a situation, things will continue to move on as usual and we won't have to fall back to reactive contingent solutions?
Well, one of the things we have continuously done at the Institute is continuously training teachers through online as well. And they actually engage through our online course, which is the Elimika program, where teachers log in. And it's a very interactive program where KICD officers are on board throughout. So they are able to ask questions, ask us what difficulties they are going through. And it's an opportunity for us to also equip them and for us to also know the challenges that are happening within the school program. This is a program that started last year. And it continues up to today, and we're having such challenges. So for us, it will be an opportunity for us to teach us on what and give us this to challenges that they are overcoming. For us, obviously, this one, we can call it reactive because it was something that was really unexpected.
Yes.
But I think the interventions that have been done so far by the government, even the Ministry of Education has really tried in terms of ensuring that these programs are in place. And so I think this is a lesson that we'll learn from and we'll continuously try to improve on it.
All right. Now, as we bring the conversation to a close, you had mentioned that, there are assistance tools on the website for parents who might be needing assistance. But what other options are there for parents who might not have access to the website or to the internet in the event that they need assistance to help their children just try and keep up with the curriculum or the content that has been put out so far by the ministry?
Obviously, that is a big challenge because if they cannot call us, they don't have a telephone to call us, then it's very difficult for us to know who the parents are and where they are. For me, I would probably advise them to contact through their telephones or through whichever other mode, I don't know. They can use even their schools, their head teachers, and their teachers who will be able to contact us and you'll be able to give that guidance. But our telephones are open and anybody can call us. Our Facebook page is very active and anybody can be there. So for us, it's very difficult to identify exactly where they are. But we do have the Ministry of Education. They do have their offices which are on the ground, which can also be a source of information to any parent who would like to get any assistance in terms of what they can do to support their child during this time, in order to cover the curriculum.
All right, and speaking of assistance, maybe at this point you could just take this time to just speak to the county governments and just try to see how they can come on board to just ensure even some of these parents in those marginalized areas are able to get the assistance that they need, given they might not have those communication tools that they need to just be in touch with the curriculum developers, the Ministry of Education, but the county government is there.
Yes. Well, for county government, I would really like to encourage them to also support the online programs that are in place, and to also encourage their teachers to do that. Also, a very good step for teachers to enroll on our Elearning program, to also go through the training on CBC, and to also ensure that the teachers are available to parents in terms of, in case they need any information in terms of what they can do during this time. So KICD website, you can go to the Kenya Education Cloud. There are a lot of materials that are available. You can go to Edu channel, that is the KICD TV channel, or the radio programs that are there on English channel. And the teachers are.
All right. Thank you very much, Ruth Mugambi. We have been looking at matters to do with the curriculum and how, the fact that we are smack in the middle of this COVID-19 crisis, the education sector has definitely been affected. And we had with us Ruth Mugambi, who is the Deputy Director in charge of Secondary Education and also the Chair of a KICD Internal Committee on Curriculum Reforms. As you have heard, parents, we have a role to play during this time. It is vital than ever that we step up and help our children just try to keep up with the curriculum so that, when things go back to normal, when there's some sense of normalcy, they're not completely thrown off and left behind in terms of the curriculum. And we transition back smoothly to the way we used to do things as we embrace the new way of doing things, given we don't want to find ourselves in another reactive situation as we did this time. But remember, we have seen almost every media house just, at the forefront in terms of helping our children stay educated. You can always tune into any of our, through KBC, we always have educative programs and also our sister radio stations to help you keep your child abreast in terms of the curriculum and what they were supposed to cover this far. But remember, it's not about taking school home. It's about helping them keep up. So as a parent, also do not frustrate yourself as you try to keep up with what they were doing in school, because honestly speaking, it will be impossible. Just do the much that you can to help your child, especially with the CBC curriculum, as we have heard from PP1 to grade 4 is already up and running. So if you are a parent in that category, just try and do as much as you can with your child during this time. And also you will also be able to be better positioned to help them move on with matters to do with education. Well, that is that in regards to the effects of COVID-19 on the education sector. But we have more of Good Morning Kenya coming up in a bit, so do stay with us. Remember, the hashtag is still Good Morning Kenya. My handle is the Jane Wamboy. Our SMS number is 20154 and our official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. We take a quick break. We'll be right back. Do stay with us.